Hello, good morning, it's me. I haven't been in for a while, so if you're new into the group, a very warm welcome to you. And my name's Sunday, and I set this group up in 2016, and it's been a journey. So at the moment, I'm in the UK. Obviously you can tell that I'm English from my accent. Hello, good morning. Hello, Mary. Welcome in. So today I'm on retreat in somewhere in Somerset, and it's a sound and silent retreat. So there's been some singing, there's been some silent periods where we've been asked to maintain silence. I got a little badge to say I am in silence. So when you go up for your food, nobody talks to you. And it's been really interesting being just alone with my thoughts. And obviously I've been thinking a bit about my girls. And in the car park, I've just been out to the car park. There's a car that's exactly like one of my daughter's cars. And and so I see that as a sign, and the car belongs to one of the more difficult daughters, the one who's more steadfast in her rejection. And estrangement for me has definitely given me something to consider around who I am, what my purpose is, why it's happened, what is the meaning of it all, and the more that I explore and uncover about me and a different sort of reading about modalities and different theories around, not just around estrangement, just around life in general, is that on a personal note, for me, what I've noticed, what I'm now choosing to believe, is that the childhood wounds that I picked up as a child, and the way that I view the world has then coloured the whole of my life, and my relationships being part of that. And it struck me that the way that I'd been treated as a child was then reoccurring with my intimate relationship with my then husband, and now with my children. And what I'm seeing is the beliefs that I have about myself, those underground, sort of what you might call the shadow side beliefs, are where the jewels are. To look at those, that's where those beliefs then perpetuate outcomes that we almost are used to. Oh, well, here's another one that's treating me like this. And so it rolls on, and I know that some of us have experienced grandchildren sort of picking up the same baton and bashing us with it, and it's basically, bottom line is, it's our personality, our traits, our beliefs, the way that we, posh word, manifest ourselves in our lives, the things that we do, the things that we don't do, the things that we say, the things that we don't say. So that's where, for me, that is where the mystery of estrangement is to be found and uncovered. And if that resonates with you, if that sort of vibrates, if you sort of understand what I'm saying, because there's some people that won't choose to explore in this way. Other people tend to focus on the people that they're having a problem with rather than themselves. And looking for them to change their ways. Good luck with that one. And, and I went there, I did that, I was thinking. The thing is that when somebody's being mean, what we usually ask is, how can they be so mean? And the question that I would invite us all to ask ourselves is, how can I let them be so mean to me? Because basically, if somebody's being mean to you, you move. You don't stay. And yet we tend to, because that's what a lot of people have been trained to do, to tolerate, to suck it up. And leaving seems, and a lot of us, me included, would stay in and want to sort it. But sometimes at that level of understanding between both people, there isn't any ground. It's not sortable at that level of awareness that we've got about ourselves and the compassion that we have for each other. Because when somebody's being mean, they've lost connection with who they are, really. They're just playing out the frightened animal part of us that we all have. So having compassion for somebody else would say, like compassion isn't sticking around with somebody who's being unkind. Compassion is a sensation. You can have compassionate behaviours but if somebody's like effing and blinding at you, if you understand what that is, if they're being really quite violent or abusive, we have to move, we have to go, and we have to say we're going as well, if you don't stop. But there's levels to this, I've discovered. The first reaction is to either fight back or run away. And then you sort of think, well, I can't keep doing that, don't really make any difference, nothing changes. And so then it's like, pointing out, do you know how disrespectful that sounds towards me when you talk to me like that? And a lot of us think that doesn't matter, it doesn't make any difference. And at some level it might not. The difference it makes is you get to hear yourself say those words, because that's you standing up for yourself, whereas before we might have just tolerated it, sucked it up. And so a lot of us do experience abusive type behaviours from our adult children. And if you look with some self-compassion for yourself at your own experience of how you were treated by your parents or your caregivers or other significant people when you were very little, you can kind of see the threads, the patterns, here it is again, here's this old way that somebody thinks they can speak to me. And even on the retreat, my thing is that, one of my things, not all of them, is that I don't like to be self-assessed until somebody says, oh, so what you're, they'll say, you are, or something, and that, I can't bear that, because it feels controlling, and that's my thing, I don't want to be controlled. And even now, I've still, I'm still exploring how to handle that in a kind, non-violent way. Until you shut up. I've had the thought that, are you aware how disrespectful that feels towards me when you tell me who I am? Because only I can, and I was saying a statement about myself, and she said, oh, you're not like that. No, not in your world, you maybe not. In my world I am, and let me be like that, because that's what I want to say I am, So I'm still delving around in these communication skills. For me is like, I love it, because it's like, how do I respond to that differently to get a different outcome? To get an outcome that's a win-win for us both, and not just me feeling like I've whatever, or one of us has won and the other's lost, And that's the old style of communication, isn't it? Now, as an evolving human being and race, whatever we are, there's an opening for us to have win-wins when we say things like, actually what you've just said doesn't work for me, and I wondered if you might choose to say something different. It takes some evolving to get to that level, some practice as well, and that's the practice, I think, that's the tough bit, because we can have all the theories on how to behave, and yet when we're up against it, we just go back into all the old familiar, the old patterns. And so we need somebody to remind us, you said you were going to do it differently, and, like a best buddy, a personal growth type buddy, somebody that you feel you can trust and share your stuff, share your wins, share the bits that go wrong. And yeah. So a book title came in, another book title came in. I'm still struggling with getting the first one written, done. Well, I've got it written, it's just to pull together. But another book title came in today. You know how your intuition just comes in when you're sort of open, and the title is How to Get Along with Yourself and Then with Others. How to get along with yourself. Because the silence, I think a lot of people struggle with the silence because you're left alone with your thoughts, you know, and you can get yourself into a right old spin. Old thoughts, old feelings, old memories. I'm watching a lady. We've got a labyrinth, if you know what a labyrinth is. And I walked it yesterday. It's a beautiful bit of garden where I am. And if she wasn't walking around it, I would flick my camera around. In fact, I might just flick my camera around. But I'll tell you what, I'll open this window and maybe you can hear the birds. And the workmen. The workmen have arrived. I'm going to flick the camera around. Just a minute. And there you have it. Wasn't that a delight? Such a beautiful place. Such an old house. In Somerset, when they talk like that down here, they do. Not like me with my Yorkshire accent. Anyway, breakfast is calling, and then we've got a little bit more silence, and then we're leaving sort of early afternoon. And then I'm travelling down to the south coast to go put my feet in the sea, so I might do a little video down there. Anyway, lots of love to you. Take care. Bye now. Bye.